Hi, this is Manuel Delta Lima 2 Mike Alpha November. Welcome back to my channel, this time for some different content. And you might ask yourself, why the hell are you doing a video about water filters? I'm going to give you a very long-winded explanation how and why this will be this video. First of all, we should talk about why you would need a water filtration system. When you're outdoor, when you're doing your ham radio outdoor activity, and you do that not only from the car, but on foot. A great example would be SOTA activation over several days. You can look at Adam K6ARK's channel. He is a great example when you do overnighters. You do not want to carry a lot of water with you because water is very heavy and you need round about, depending on your activity, you need between 2 and 5 liters per day that you need to carry with you. That's 5 kilograms per day. And imagine now being on a multi-day trip, that ends up in pain. We try to have our equipment as light as possible, see the TrueSDX for example, efficient as possible, and then we would carry 5 kilograms of water per day. That doesn't make any sense. So we need a water filter, a way to clean the water we find outside. Classical way, old day way would be just to cook it, which is safe, at least when it comes to bacteria and virus removal and any pathogenic contamination, but it doesn't remove chemicals. You need to know that. But this is a very old way and very safe way to make water safe to drink. The problem is it's time consuming. You need to be able to make a fire, which is not always possible in a safe way. It's very slow because you can only boil X amount, which needs time. You need to have fuel for that. And of course, when the water is hot, you cannot drink it right away. So if you want to boil a few liters of water, you need to let it cool down before you can put it in a bottle or whatnot. And you need to carry that around then, or you make a fire every time you need water. That's not very practical. To remove that struggle, there's water filter systems. Water filter is supposed to make dirt water into clean water that you can drink. So the theory. So let's look at some water filters and talk a little bit about the differences, and later we are going to hop into the computer part where we show what the manufacturers are claiming, what they can prove and whatnot. And at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about how I'm going to perform the test procedure, but the test itself, the test procedure showing that, will be the next video. Here's a pro tip. Did you know that drinking water tastes so much better if it was processed by a brewery? Think about that. And this, of course, was only a joke, but what's no joke is the fact that in medieval times, it was actually safer to drink beer compared to drinking water. Imagine, like an animal, a chicken or whatever, fell into a well, it would die down there and would contaminate their drinking water. And in the process of beer brewing, the water is of course heated up and was made safe in that way. It was boiled simply. That made the water safe to drink. What am I hoping to achieve with this video? Maybe change in a positive way. I want to create transparency. So let's hop right into it. How it all started. About 15 years ago, 16 maybe, I bought outdoor water filter to use on backpacking trips, multi-day tours, to have clean water. So I bought this filter, this MSR MiniWorks X, back then, only based on what the manufacturer told me it would do. I believed it. I had no reason to disbelieve it. I never questioned that. It worked pretty well for me. It filtered. I never got any issues. The question that raises now is, was the water just clean that I put through there, or did this thing do a good job? And since I want to test this one as well, and this is very old, obviously, and used, so I bought another one. This is brand new, never used, and this is the one that I'm going to use for this test. This is, yeah, I cannot guarantee that this will contaminate the sample every time, so I bought a brand new one. And by the way, everything I show you today was paid by my own money. I do this on my own expenses here. It's just simple, the matter of the fact that I'm interested in the results. That's it. The MSR MiniWorks X is a pumping filter. This side you can put on a bottle. I even printed an adapter, so I can not only use the Nalgene bottles for what it's made, but also PET bottles. Doesn't matter for you. Just a funny side note. And the water is being sucked in here. You put that in the puddle or whatever, the river. Then you pump and clean water comes outside here. How? Let's have a look. This is the actual filter cartridge. The outside is ceramic and inside is active carbon. This takes care about all the microparticles, and the carbon inside takes care about the bad odor and taste. You really need to be careful not to contaminate the clean side. So I'm going to assemble that back together. And to protect the clean side, you have this cap, and there's also this gauge here. That's one of the main aspects why I decided to buy this filter initially, because you have that gauge and can see whether that filter element is still safe. But however, this is only the claim of the manufacturer. I want to point that out. Somewhere along the line, I purchased another filter, which is the Sawyer Mini, that may be very well known to you. I think I bought it because I saw it on an expo. I bought a double pack of it. I have the other one tested, used. Well, not so much used in a practical application, but I tested it, how the water would flow through it. And this one was never used. It's still in the original packaging, as you can see from the color of that. Yeah, it's lying around already for quite some time, but this filter is never used. I'm going to use that in my test. This filter is based on hollow fiber. I think that was a technology that came out of dialysis technology, and they used that for water filtration systems. I'm not sure what I should think about that technology, how reliable it is. 100,000 gallons. Okay. And what actually triggered this video for me, I was offered a product to test and to write a review about it, which I did. And in that process, I was confronted with some interesting claims, let me put it this way. I was offered this filter bottle, and this filter bottle was advertised as outdoor water filtration system or outdoor water filter. There is a filter inside. It's inside here. Let me disassemble it. Well, chemical smell. This is the filter cartridge here. And this is advertised to be a brand label filtration system. And this is supposed to be basically used like a live straw. You suck here, dirty water here, and you're supposed to be able to suck it out. The problem is with that system, you're carrying always your dirty water with you, not clean water, and you can only activate that when you really need it. It needs to be activated with clean water before you can use it. That's another problem. On the pro side, it's very cheap, supposed to be very low suction force needed, but they claim some interesting stuff here. This is why I get so triggered by it. They say their filtering membrane is filtering out not only bacteria, but also viruses, which are known to be very, very tiny compared to bacteria, and even removing chemicals, remains of medication and stuff like that. Well, looking at that filter, I cannot imagine that that works. They even claim to have a certificate that proves it. And I thought, wait a minute, let me have a look at that certificate. So I requested that certificate, and it turned out to be like a one-page thing that certified the manufacturer of that filter raw material according to a certain norm. Then I looked up that norm. The norm was the NSF P42, and I'm going to quote here: drinking water treatment units, it's only being tested for aesthetic effects. This standard establishes minimum requirements for systems designed to reduce non-health related contaminants. So basically this means if you have water that tastes like chlorine or foully, whatever, it's concentrating on that aspect only. In that test norm, it is not tested that there will be viruses and bacteria removed, even though the supplier claimed so. And I thought, well, this is not good. They claim something. Where's my proof? I do not want to try that out. I find that out on the hard way and get sick or something like that. So I thought, how am I going to test this thing? This is really, those are big claims. They are making money of it. And so this is where it started for me. I thought, okay, let's look what the others are doing. And now we are right in the middle of it, because no one actually proves their claims. That's the interesting part here. None of the suppliers is proving their claims. Before we jump in the part where I show you what I mean, I'm going to just for completeness show you some more stuff. Those are water treatment chlorine tablets. You can just dissolve them in the water and it's killing anything that's in there, but it doesn't help against chemical contamination. And they have a restricted lifetime, so you need to use them or they are not going to work anymore. Some time ago I bought a live straw. As you can see, it's completely sealed. Not going to test that. And what's the most hyped filter right now? Right, it's the Grayl. So I needed to have one of them as well. So I bought one, never used. I've just put it out of the box to have a look at it. This, by the way, is also considered to remove viruses. This is the only other one that claims that. This one is working differently. It has the filter cartridge down here. You put the dirty water in that cup, then you press down the filter into the dirty water, and the clean water is pushed through that filter here inside that clean bottle here. So it's a bottle in a bottle. They also work with hollow fiber membrane in combination, I think, with some electrostatic material and even active charcoal, I think. I need to look it up. We are going to look in the details anyway, very soon. I just wanted to show you that stuff so you have seen it. So let's have a look at the computer, browse through the pages of the manufacturers to see what they claim and what they can prove or not. So let's start with the MSR MiniWorks X. I'm on the MSR gear side. And let's have a look what they provide us. They say testing meets NSF protocol P231 for removal of bacteria and protozoa from beginning to end of filter life in worst case water. So pretty high claims. So I'm trying to figure out where can I check this. FAQ documents, there's nothing that would provide me any more details. So they have a pretty good blog where you can find a lot of stuff, which is also my entry point here, because I found that page when I Googled. And here you can see the different norms. Aesthetic effects. This standard covers systems designed to reduce aesthetic or non-health related contaminants. It covers things like the removal of taste, such as chlorine, odors, colors, particulates. This test only challenges device with tap water. It does not test for the removal of pathogenic microorganisms, which may be present in backcountry water. And remember, they claimed they test that according NSF protocol P231, microbiological water purifiers. This is the standard you want if you'll be treating backcountry water, which carries the risk of waterborne pathogens. It's a more stringent version of EPA's guide standard and protocol for testing microbiological purifiers, which was designed for outdoor point-of-use filters, which you may also see claimed on the box. Both the EPA's guide standard and NSF P231 use tap water and simulated worst-case wilderness water that contains disease-causing microorganisms. They do not test for chemicals. All MSR filters meet NSF P231 for the categories of pathogens they claim to remove. And further, what to know about testing to NSF protocol P231. That's an interesting claim here. While most manufacturers, including MSR, send their products to a third party to gain unbiased results, the manufacturer controls how much of the test is actually conducted. Okay, the full NSF protocol P231 test lasts for 10 days. 5 of those days challenges a filter with tap water, the other 5 with what's called worst case water, containing elevated levels of organic matter, turbidity, pH and salt, and at nearly freezing temperatures. In addition, the test challenges the filter at the end of the filter's life to ensure it's still removing pathogens up until the last moment its cartridge is full. Every MSR filter is tested to the full 10-day protocol, but not every manufacturer tests to the full protocol. The tests are very expensive, so it's not uncommon for companies to test only part of the protocol while claiming their product meets NSF protocol P231 or meets EPA standards, says Zach. He recommends calling the manufacturer to learn how many days the test was conducted and what volume of water was used. Okay, so this is already an interesting claim that shows us in which direction to go. The thing is, I could see that MSR is doing the water tests internally. So I was looking for any proof of external laboratory, because here they said most manufacturers, including MSR, send their products to a third party to gain unbiased results. I could not find anywhere a test report of that. They have pretty good articles giving good insights in their laboratory and whatnot, and what they are doing and how they are doing, but the results are never shown. They claim here, for example, yeah, I mean, you saw what they claim. Meets NFS protocols, blah, 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 removing blah. So where's the proof of that? Because we want unbiased results. What I did is I sent an email to each and every one of the suppliers we are talking about, manufacturers we are talking today about. I run a YouTube channel, DL2MN, with currently just over 6,000 subscribers, which normally deals with amateur radio topics. However, as the focus next to technical topics is also on outdoor fun, I'm currently planning a video in which I want to test outdoor filters, blah, blah, blah. And I asked them, in order to show the viewers what intensive tests are carried out by the manufacturers before the filters are put on the market, I would like to ask you to send me possible test reports, certificates, and descriptions of test procedures so I can show them in this video. Can you send me, and so on. Up front, from the emailed companies, MSR replied. Basically, they were the only one that replied by email, referring me to their blog. When I specifically asked about test results, because they are nowhere to be found here, they said, and I quote, it was not in their laboratory policy to release those to the general public. So if I make claims like this and try to appear transparent like this, why would you not publish an external laboratory result? That's the question. Because that's the ultimate proof and transparency for their claims that the filter is actually doing what they're claiming it does. I have a claim, I have a lot of fluff and blah, blah, blah and whatnot, but absolutely no proof of that. Why? Why wouldn't you do that? Right now, even though they appear legit, which I'm sure they are, and I'm not saying they are not, but I cannot see a proof of their claim. Okay, so let's have a look at the filter I was talking about, the filter bottle I was testing. Their claim was removes bacteria, protozoa, 99%, virus, pathogens, dirt particle, even heavy metals, bly, arsen, chrome, even rests of medication and chlorine. And that's a pretty tough claim, if you ask me. They have a lot of fancy looking pictures, a German customer support, yeah, that looked really good. They compared them with cheap filters, and even though they are just, when I got it, they only charged 30 euros for the filter and 15 euro for the cartridge. Yeah, but that was their claims. And they further claimed that you would get an NSF certificate by email after purchasing. So I wrote them, I want that certificate, and what they sent me is this. Complying with NSF ANSI 42 and all applicable requirements. Products appearing in those NSF official listing are authorized to bear the NSF mark. Okay, great. So we know now that the filter raw material company is certified according a non-applying or non-applicable standard, as we just learned from MSR. See? They sent me another document which was this, which is basically just a letter stating that they have done some testings and BCS Laboratories has been conducting waterborne contaminants filtration, blah, 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 blah. Alstrom Media with disruptor media technology has repeatedly demonstrated effective bacterial, viral and parasitic contaminant removals from drinking water as per tested methodology. BCS laboratory tests on products. Okay, that's the interesting part. Tests on production flat sheets of disruptor media demonstrated that the media removed bigger than 99 and so on. So again, the filter raw material supplier was sent a letter that said, okay, they are removing from production flat sheets, frequently, repeatedly demonstrated that it removes that, but that doesn't say anything. Looked a little bit further to the filter material manufacturer, and they had a pamphlet. You can find that on their webpage, what it does, and it claims here the same thing, but also no proof of that. What I want is a test report going through that extensive 10-day period of a laboratory presenting the results, because that's the way how we use it. We are not using that thing one time. We are not using production flat sheets of that raw material. We are using the filter bottle. They sent me that mail. Then I was sending another mail, basically the same thing I did with all the other companies, the mail I've showed you here. I got no further response. Especially also pointing out that the norm they are claiming doesn't apply here. And the other thing is that not their product is rated or certified according to the protocol as they make seem, but only the raw material manufacturer. So didn't get any response from that. From Sawyer, I didn't get any response at all. I sent them, I tried to contact them via their web form. It didn't work, so I sent them the same email via the provided email address, didn't get a response, and the email was sent now, I think it's 12 days ago. So probably not going to get a reply. So let's have a look what they claim. They claim 7 log, so 99.999999 of bacteria and so on. So also very big claims what they are trying to remove, trying to find their proof, and you can indeed find a test report here. Attached is our lab report, but yeah, it exceeds EPA standards. It's really written in great detail how they did the tests, how they prepared the water, and so it looks quite legit. But if you look deeper, quality control 1 unit was tested in triplicate, so 3 times in a row they did this test with 3 different filters. Triplicate testing allowed variation in filter system's performance to be differentiated from variation in laboratory replicates, unfiltered test water, and so on. But what that means to me, they once poured 100 milliliter through 1 filter. Okay, they did that with 3 filters. That's great. So we have proof that it works 1 time at 3 filters, but that's not the way how we use our filters. We are carrying them for 1 week. They are wet. They are exposed to the elements. There's possible cross-contamination, and I want to know if they clog up at some time. So using it 1 time doesn't help me really. So it's also not very transparent, because that's a very general statement to say it removes X amount of bacteria when you prove that only once, you know? And finally, the Grayl, the claims are basically the same: removes pathogens, blah, blah, blah. And in this case, also a virus, novovirus, blah, blah, blah. Looking for a test report, you don't find anything. I sent them an email, I replied, we have received your message mail, but didn't get any response from now. So I contacted the chat because they offer that here. And the chat has sent me, by the way, they have only manuals and stuff like that on their page. And the chat sent me a document, which also looked very legit. Grayl GeoPress. Do we have a laboratory that performed this? Yes, we have that. BCS Laboratories, which was basically the same laboratory that did the other test here for the other manufacturer, which is great. I like that. However, if you look at it again, filter time 15 seconds. So it was a one-time result. What should we do with that? I received no email. I discussed that with the chat and they said, no, this is the only document they are allowed to give out. If you have a water filter, why don't you just publish a valid test result according to a applicable norm? I don't understand that. And here we are, me with a lot of filters, a lot of claims, but no proof of that. And the reply of Grayl and MSR, especially because they are a company that's long on the market. They are, like I said, I purchased my first filter 15 years ago, and they are like almost leaders in filter technology. Why wouldn't they publish a lab report? I don't get it. Maybe you know that. Maybe you can let me know in the comments if you know, have you any deeper knowledge. So I decided to put all those filters to the tests. What am I going to do now? I'm going in the forest. I know of a puddle of mud, basically, where the wild boar is bathing, where there's probably a lot of bacteria contamination because of, the ducks swim in there and whatnot. There's no fresh water addition, so this is basically collected rainwater sitting in a hole in the ground and constantly, frequently visited by different animals, drinking, bathing, swimming in there, and probably pooping in there as well. A lot of contamination to be expected. I'm testing those filters with this worst case water because the claim was there that they do testing with worst case water. This is worst case water. Then I was in contact with the laboratory asking for what tests to do on that. I contacted the laboratory that was doing our local tap water for the community, the test, which is a laboratory not far from here. I thought, well, if I can drive there and give them the probes, it would make things easier. And I got reply that he basically suggested to do only like bacteria cultures and counting the amount of cultures that were in there before and after filtering. I asked for the price, and this is the moment where we are at the moment. I don't know what it will cost. If it's affordable, I will do that. If not, I have a plan B, or actually it's plan A. I've bought those two tests. This is a bacteria test, which actually does exactly that. You probe the water and then you let it sit at a certain temperature for 48 hours. And then you can compare it with a sheet and you see bacteria growth on there. You're supposed to see the amount and should be able to quantify roughly. Those are 10. And I have further on, because there were some claims that there's removal of chemicals. I have 16 in one test stripes. I don't know if they work, but I will do that. They are supposed to measure pH, cyanic acid, carbonate, hardness, total chlorine, free bromine, nitrate, nitrate, iron, chromium, lead, copper, mercury, fluoride, and total alkalinity. I'm going to do the following because I was asking the manufacturers for valid test results or results that we yeah, that would be how we would use it in the field. I'm going to test the dirt water, the worst case water I just explained to you. Then I'm going to filter like half a liter of that water through each of the filters. Then I'm going, and I'm testing all those. So this is the start point, water before and after each filter at the beginning of the test period. Then I'm going to keep the filter wet over at least 7 days. I'm going to filter every day 1 liter of water through every filter, keeping it wet, mixing clean tap water and this dirt water. And after 7 days, I'm going back to the puddle, filtering that mud water again through all those filters, taking samples and taking, of course, a sample testing the raw water. So in the summary, this will be 10 tests over a period of 7 days that I'm going to do. Hopefully I can afford to have that made in the laboratory. So we have 2 tests, so we can see what those, we can test the tests basically. And we see if that changes. If the water filters behave any differently after 7 days, how we would use it in the field with really the worst case water you can imagine. And I would show you that hole. You will see what I mean when I show you that hole. You would never drink from that. Okay, so that's the plan. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions how we can do that differently. Maybe if you're interested and if we collect some money, then we can extend that. Can have more professional laboratory tests, can have different filters, because for a private person, obviously, and I paid all of this from my own money, it can get pretty expensive. The filters alone are a few $100, you know. So maybe if that's interesting for you and others that may visit the channel just now, we can do something together there. Okay, let me know in the comments what you think of it. If you have any experiences with water filtration systems that worked or did not work, that would be the more interesting cases. And what you think about the policy of the companies. Maybe I'm completely off here, but I don't get what's the big secret about laboratory results that just prove what they claim anyway, you know? Where's the secret in that? What's the reason to hide that? Let me know in the comments. Okay, and see you in the next video. I'm not sure when I'm going to publish that. Probably around Christmas time, because that's when I have time for something like that. Okay, but I have everything here. Everything is ready to go. I'm waiting for the laboratory to reply, and then we can start. See you next time. Bye-bye.